Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I hope all is well with you. Donovan should be joining me just a moment, as he is not in the country. He is, y'all know where Donovan is. He's in the DR, but he's trying to get his situation together so he can come on. Sounds like he may be having a little bit of internet connectivity issues, but he'll be on shortly, hopefully. Anyway, I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community. That makes us an even better people because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook as you are the other side of the conversation. Sometimes I share the link. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, please show me this. And if you're not comfortable, you can go back to that. Just know that no one else can see you, but me, not even Donovan, until I bring you up to the big screen. As I said, make sure if I've never seen you on here before, I absolutely must see your face. Also in the comment section, it's not that we disagree, it is how we disagree. So let's be as respectful as we can to one another as possible. And I ask the same thing for us here on the panel. So, of course, you guys, by now, I hope that you've heard about what happened yesterday in regards to the United States striking Iran. I've been saying Iran, and I was told it's Iran. So I'm going to try to be correct in how I pronounce it, but Iran. And so we're going to get into all of that. But the question that we're going to ponder today is, what should Black Americans do as U.S. braces for Iranian revenge? Because there's been a lot of talk and speculation that may happen. So once I get into it, we can go into what that may look like and what we all should do as Black Americans as this is impending at this point. But before I get started, who do we have on here? We have 540D says we should do nothing at all. Okay, Elder Dwayne, how you doing? Says not a blank thing. That's those folks' war, not ours. Okay. One who cares, how you doing? And KNYC, how you doing? Says Black Americans need to be Americans for once and stand with the country instead of all this contrarian crap. Well, a question that I would have for you is when has America stood with Black Americans? I don't want to get too deep into that right now. H. McDaniels, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yes, hope everybody's having a great Sunday. S. Edgy, what's going on with you? Shaw, what's going on? Say, why should we stand by a country who's provoked a war? Make it make sense. I should have read your comment. Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, hope you're doing well. And thank you to all the moderators. You rock. Could not do this without you. Brother Thunder, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you are doing well. Cynthia, how are you? Macman, what's going on? Melva, who else we got on here? Sister Tracy. Bernard, what's going on? Thank you. JJ Mars, hope you're doing well. All right. So I don't see anybody else on here. Forgive me. I'm going to try to give y'all all the information. So I don't mean to skip anybody. Hopefully I can get back to y'all once I'm done. Clifford, what's going on with you? Okay. So last night or yesterday, I'd say early evening, we learned this. And it comes from President Donald Trump. He says, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. And I know I said that wrong, but forgive me. All planes are now outside of Iran and airspace, rather. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So let me go ahead and remove that. And I'm going to bring up Donovan. I think he's there. He is. There's a shadow of Donovan. Let me go ahead and put him on mute. So there he is. All right. So they call that Operation Midnight Hammer. That was the operation that took place yesterday, June 21st. So basically, the primary goal was to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapon capabilities housed at the aforementioned sites. Now, it was aimed to deter Iran and reset the diplomatic and military posture in the region. This is what they're saying, okay? Now, the force and weaponry that was used was 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers launched from Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, flew an 18-hour mission with multiple in-air refuelings and tight communication control. Now, we didn't hear anything about it. Y'all know what happened the last time with the Houthis, right? There was some sort of communication that went off on some sort of, I don't know, communication thing, and it was a mess. All right. Now, it says deployed 14 GBU 57B massive ordnance penetrator, and they call those MOPS, bunker busters, their first ever combat use. So that was the first time that was used. And Donovan's okay. I think he's trying to come back in. And also says submarines launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, over 2 dozen fired at Isfahan. Some accounts say up to 30. Okay. 125 aircrafts in total participated, including support from F-22s, F-35s, F-16s, tankers, jammers, and suppressive aircraft. Now, I know, like a lot of y'all, that's probably going over your head, but I just want to give it context because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. Okay. Now, let's see here. It says a portion of the B-2 force flew west toward Pacific Guam as a ruse. So y'all remember, y'all might, if y'all were paying attention, I was paying attention, that they said that there were 2, aircrafts that were going to Guam, and I guess they were going to station there. Now, mind you, Trump had said, I'm going to think this over for 2 weeks. We're going to see what I'm going to do 2 weeks. Now, this thing is, last week, Israel struck Iran because they said that they were storing up too much uranium. They said that they had more than 60%, and that was a lot, and they were scared that Iran was going to do something to it. And then from that point, Iran struck back, and they kind of been going back and forth, causing death and destruction to, both countries, this, that, and the other. Now, with that, Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, was saying, hey, United States, we need y'all to help, right? Because y'all know that they are in a war with Palestine, and they've been in, conflicts with a whole lot of other people throughout the Middle East. Okay. So then, of course, the airstrike happened. Everybody's like, oh, my God, right? Because people were thinking 2 weeks, but they said that might have been a decoy. All right. So let's see what else happened. They said the largest ever B-2 mission since 2001 and longest mission, 18 hours each way. First operational use of the 30,000-pound GBU 57B MOP, right? So I guess it's this, huge bomb, if you will, not to be kind of freezing up a little bit. And the purpose of that was to get to Iran's underground, storage of uranium. Now, it's said that it's over 300 feet below ground. And I guess the United States was the only one, maybe with that capability to get to it. Although Iran says, well, y'all caused some damage, but you didn't really, So I don't know. Okay. And let's see here. Now it says in damage inflicted, key enrichment and underground facilities were heavily damaged. Long-term effects still being assessed because there's an organization. I don't know the name of it. They're trying to get to it to assess it, but they're like, yo, we need a ceasefire because we're not trying to be over there to see exactly what's going on in Iran. If y'all still, dropping bombs, we don't want that kind of energy in our life. Okay. Now, Iran denied major damage and promised retaliation. One reported IR missile injury occurred in Israel. Now, the political debate is officials heralded as a success, but some critics question the legality and strategic wisdom because a lot of people are saying it was unconstitutional as Trump did not get the buy-in of Congress. I guess he just went on with himself and the Joint Chiefs of Staff and, Pete Hegseth and all of that. And they bypassed Congress, which it sounds like it should take anyway. I said should take Congress to sign off on that. And they didn't. Now, it says in regards to retaliation risk, Iran has vowed to respond. It says keep an eye on stray missiles attacks and cyber operations. This strike would influence ongoing nuclear negotiations and regional influence. Now, it should be said that Iran does not have the capability to send missiles or anything like that directly over here to the United States, but they could target military bases throughout the region. They could have what they call sleeper cells over here. And y'all can use your imagination with that. It could be cyber attacks and a whole host of other things. Now, not only Iran, but the Houthis said, oh, okay, we want in, right? Now, Hezbollah doesn't sound like they want anything to do with it. They said they believe Iran has the power to, do whatever they need to do. Okay. Now, that's just my synopsis so far. Now, ushering in Black Americans, what should we be doing, I guess, to prepare for, anything that may be impending? It is not at this point if it's going to happen. Donovan, when you could come back, you're kind of freezing up. I see you putting your hand up. Can we hear you? Let me see. Can we hear you? You're on mute. Yeah, I think he's trying to come in, but he can't. I can't hear him. But as soon as he comes in, then I'll stop talking. Okay, so as I said, what the retaliation could be. Now, it has been said that Black American communities have survived disasters before if something happens, right? And we've done that with unity, with very little help from the government. Now, I was listening to the message today from the Nation of Islam delivered by student minister Ishmael Muhammad, and the message was accept your own and be yourself. And it was quite a beautiful message. And when we do that, we'll be able to, think about more about unity, because we're going to have to do that anyway. But more so, we're going to have to pay more attention, more now than ever. So a little less entertainment and a more attention to what's going on nationally and internationally. Now, I will tell you, I've had quite a few people call me yesterday. I don't know why they think I'm the expert on what's going on and, with potential war and all of that. But I just told them that. I said, pay attention, stop watching as much entertainment, stay tuned into what's going on around the world. Definitely be careful about where you go. I know somebody who was taking a flight to Washington. I said, I don't know. I would probably rethink that just in case anything may happen. So they're going to rethink that. But as I heard a lot of experts say, it's not if the Iranians will, retaliate, if you will, it's when. And they said they're used to playing. They're used to playing the long game. Now, the long game is a lot of people are thinking, okay, they're going to retaliate within a couple of days or whatever the case is. But they said they've been known to maybe even take years, right? When you least expect it is oh, here we are type of thing, right? Now, I did a little research to see how many Black Americans, military people, have died in the wars throughout the history of the United States. And the number that I got was between 100,000 and 135,000. Now, that seems kind of low. I don't know if it is or not. I'm just telling you what I saw. Maybe it's wrong. Also, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan warned Trump in 2018 that getting involved in the conflict in the Middle East would basically end America as we know it. So he basically said, don't do it. That was 2018. Of course, he did not come back. He being Trump to be president after that. He is back now. And so here we are. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan pretty much called what is going on now. Now, the question that I have is, especially impending what might be going on, have Black Americans benefited from all of the Black service people that have gone to these wars and given their life? Well, I think you know the answer to that. But the other question I have is, do we have a choice? So let's have a conversation about that. Again, don't count me as an expert on any of this. Donovan is really more the person to chime in on that, but he's having some problems, so I'll do as best I can. But I want to see what you all have to say. So let's see, where did I leave off? And hopefully I've given you as much information as I can. Oh, I should say that Vice President J.D. Vance said, oh, we're not going to war with Iran. We weren't even trying to target the Iranians. We were targeting military operations over there. So I just want to be clear. We're not trying to go to war with them. Now, of course, Trump did say, hey, y'all better stand down. Now, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said, well, basically, Trump has been warning them for 60 days to do what they are supposed to be doing, as far as with the uranium, and they weren't listening. So he basically said, if you don't do what Trump says do, then you're basically going to pay the price. So next time y'all need to do, whoever he talking to, need to do what you're told, and you won't have these consequences. Now, Trump did say that if Iran keeps on, then what's to come next is going to be worse. Now, it doesn't sound like anybody was harmed with the U.S. strikes, but I don't know. It remains to be seen. So anyway, let me see what you guys have to say. I'm done talking. I'll just read you guys' comments. Where did I leave off? Okay, here we go. Brother Reggie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You could probably tell us a lot about this as well. It says, peace, family, on the plane headed back over the big water. Be careful. Ward Wilson, how you doing? Says, another war they'll send us, or are enough of our people to die for. Your comment cut off. And let's see, Rocky America, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetria, many of us white Christians are happy UN FBA support Team Trump. He says Trump has did many amazing things to help you colored people. Huh? I ain't even gonna respond to that. Anyway, H. McDaniel says, Black people, nothing just like all of the other stuff that's been going on this. Yeah, and what we're seeing too, that is we really need to start focusing on ourselves. And within the last couple of months, Black Americans really have been getting that message and delivering that message to everybody else. Hey, we're going to focus on ourselves, right? Now, I will say, I've seen a lot of people that, not just Black Americans, but a lot of other people say, hey, I'm not going over there to die for that. I'm sorry. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not going to give my life for that, as that has nothing to do with Americans. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's upset about it. She's like, yo, you know, there's a lot of other things we could be spending all this money on. She talked about how America is $37 trillion in debt, and how a lot of that money, and of course, goes to the military, but that money should be spent on Americans and helping Americans have a better way of life. She talked about herself being 51 years old, although I thought she was older, and that she has 3 children in their 20s, and that they should be able to buy houses and things like that. But at the state of America now, as far as economics is concerned, that generation will not be able to do that. Now, I bring up Marjorie Taylor Greene because she is MAGA big time. She is like a staunch supporter of the president, but it sounds like she is disagreeing heavily about what happened yesterday. So it's going to be very interesting, as a lot of other Republicans too are saying, nah, this ain't it. Of course, people are calling for Trump to be impeached because they're like, yo, he needs to ask Congress about this, and he didn't. So anyway, Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. As Edgy says, the good news is that none of the Black business. Well, we say that, but let's say they have a draft. That's why I said, well, we have a choice. When I say we, I mean them, because I'm too old to go. Brogu, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. DSB, how you doing? Long time no see. It says y'all better sit the hell down and stay out of this war. You have no idea what it's like in the military. You put up with racism and suicide missions that they only give to the Black units. Yeah, so I've heard. I've never been in the military myself, but I take your word for it. Shaw, you says you strike another country and think that brings peace. Right. I never heard of anything so ridiculous. Shaking my head. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are saying, is like, well, that wasn't peaceful. Hey, Brother Critical, how you doing? Hope you're doing well this fine Sunday. DSB says, this ain't my fight. This is the white man's war. Well, it's always been the white man's war. That, has used Black bodies to kind of help, do whatever they're doing. So it's always been the white man's war. Never been ours. Okay, Daniels, how you doing? He says Donald Trump is one big fool in the White House. He lied about making peace, not war. Yes, and a lot of people are upset about that. When I say people, a lot of people that voted for him, the MAGA crowd, they're upset because they're like, hey, you said no more wars. You were the only president that didn't go to war and blah, blah, blah. And here you are, doing what a lot of people are considering like, oh my God, the unthinkable, because I don't know. Donovan could probably tell us a little bit more about Iran and why a lot of people think it's taboo to enter into a potential war with them. So I'll give it over to Donovan, and I'll get right back to you guys in just a minute, I swear. Child of God, how you doing?
All right. Welcome, you guys. Good to be on the show. Good to see Demetria back in action. I am still on my sabbatical to understand immigration as we know it. So I have journeyed to the Dominican Republic to demand my rights and to have the right to be here and all that other good stuff that, we hear in America, which is ludicrous, right? But anyway, I'm doing my thing here. Yeah, this is a complicated, it's really not complicated. Number one, people, and I've been seeing this on Facebook all day, we are not at war. We are not at war. Congress is the only body that has the power to declare war. The last time Congress declared war was World War II. Yes, is it the same action? It is. However, because we as the American people allow this BS to go on, who authorized the president? Because the president can take military action for 90 days. It's in his War Powers Act. Who gave him that authorization? The Congress. $1 trillion budget. And if you guys have been watching this show, I have been telling you guys, $1 trillion budget, and nobody even quivered at the suggestion of that. So if you got $1 trillion budget, as the budget kept going up and up and up, you got to justify it, right? How do you justify it? You got to drop those bombs. $1 million bombs, the defense industry, the military industrial complex, all of that stuff is true. But it goes to show you how people do not understand how government works because they don't teach it in school. The president has the authorization for 90 days to use an operation, to take military action. They gave him that authorization. Now, common sense would tell you this. If I go and bomb somebody that, it's none of my business, I just created an enemy, which inevitably would make us be technically at war. Congress has ceded its authority to the president, and they haven't, Vietnam, one of the biggest scams the American military has ever gone into. Congress allowed it. Who was Congress? We're Congress. We allowed it. And this packaging goes on and on and on and on. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Notice nobody is doing anything. They're just going along with it because they get their checks cut from the military industrial complex. Go back to the Eisenhower years as Eisenhower was giving his farewell speech. For every bullet, for every gun, for every airplane that is made, that is a theft of American taxpayer dollars and food and healthcare and education, taking out of the next generation's availability. Now, in this situation here, Iran, yeah, I mean, you guys got to remember, Iran was once a big supporter of the United States. Shah of Iran, you got, those of us that are old enough to remember that, all that great stuff. We gave them military arms and all this. It's the nuclear facility. Do you guys really believe that? Do you guys really believe this nuclear facility is, so threatening? But yet you got Iran, who has nuclear weapons, running around in the Middle East roughshod in our name. It's about resources and that oil. Notice that Iraq is so nice and pacified now that we've got overall influence of all of that. Halliburton and all these major corporations. Goes deeper than that. But to answer Dimitri's question real quick, what should Black people do? Do what we've always been doing. Nothing. Go to your barbecues. Go hang out. Go, country line dance and all that other stuff. Because again, when we are at the bottom of an economic scale, what did I tell you guys? It doesn't matter who's in power. Our lives will not change. It does not matter. What should we be doing? I really don't give a damn at this point. But notice, and I want you guys to kind of notice this because Dimitri did not notice, Donovan seemed to have left the country when all of this stuff was gearing up. So as I look at the United States from my beach resort, if anything happens, I will be over here monitoring the situation.
Yeah, but you got to come back though. So good luck, sucker. So yes, and Brother Raven, how you doing? I saw your comment. Certain comments I can't really put up here, but I do see you. And Mr. Ricky, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sister Marcella, KMC, how you doing? some other people are government's magnitude. You says, how many scientists did Iran remain now with now? So how many scientists do they have now? I don't know. As I know, with some of the military strikes from Israel, they, gotten rid of some of their high-ranking, people here and there. So nobody really knows at this point. Yanni, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else. Ty, what's going on with you? Thank you so much for that. Michael, what's going on with you? Says what to do, read, study in time prophecy, which is all about what is happening now. You're absolutely right. The only difference is that you must understand that the chosen people are us. That's why we're targeted. Hey, I know you preaching to the choir, but thank you for preaching nevertheless. Roots Tracker, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I'm gonna catch up to these comments because I know I'm behind y'all. Brother Romel, how you doing? Says it don't make no freaking sense. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that death before dishonor. What's going on with you? Tin Man, how you doing? And Sister Cynthia, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. And yes, the next time I wear the shirt, I will take a picture and I will send it to you. And thank you so much for that. Joanne, what's going on with you? Says Netanyahu started all this mess and ran and set his behind in Greece today while Iran bombed Israel. Yeah, and they're still going at it, Israel and Iran. So it really just remains to be seen. S. Edgy, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that.
Yeah, and real quick, you guys, do you guys realize Netanyahu was supposed to be out of office 3 years ago? His term has been up, and the reason is he stays in office and goes to war so they don't prosecute him. People keep forgetting that. His term as prime minister was expired 3 years ago.
You must be trolling, huh, Daryl? He says, I think FBAs are safe. We voted for Kamala. I don't know who this we is. I didn't vote for Kamala. All right. And Ruth Tracker, you make a good point. He says, Obama bombed several times in several countries and it was quiet. Yes, that is absolutely true. Daryl says the MIC runs the country. All the people in D.C. are compromised. I'd agree with that. Wendell, what's going on with you? Says there are 40,000 U.S. military personnel in the area over there. When those U.S. flags drop, coffins start coming home, folks. Ideas will change. Yep. And that's what they say the real threat is the service people that are in the region and, other places that they could be targeted. Arneba, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Buckhorse, what's going on with you? Cynthia says, I'm confused and upset. No more war. Americans need government money and their resources, which is owed to us like our reparations check. Yep. Biz, and did I say hello to? If not, hello. He says, Kamala married the folks. They didn't stop the Gaza slaughter either. And that's what I said to somebody yesterday on TikTok. I said, Kamala was not going to be any different. Check her record. If you know, right? She says, I 100%, okay, defend their right to defend themselves. So, yeah, absolutely. Veronica Brown, how you doing? Sister Sherry, what's going on with you? Says Israel has to do is hit someone and they know the big brother U.S. is going to come and try to beat them up. I worried about what's going on, what's going to happen here in the USA. We don't have these people from that country living here. They're always meddling in someone else's business. Okay. Lady Sue, how you doing? Says sister watching from the UK. Love you. And I love you too. Thank you so much. As Eddie says, this is the war of two monetary systems, BRICS and U.S. Hedge money. It could be. Jamal, what's going on with you? Says when you were it says when was Iran a supporter of the US? I don't know when that ever was or anything like that, but from what I understand, and I could be wrong, sounds like Iran was doing what Iran was doing. They weren't even necessarily, focusing on anything. They were doing their own thing and kabam, So
yeah, a little history lesson. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people, but you've got to understand the history. We installed the Shah in the 1940s, the young Shah, and we put him on there. See, there's a CIA operation that overturned the government of Iran, and they became our biggest backers in the Middle East. We sold them F-14 military equipment, all kinds of stuff. We built up their nation. You can go on YouTube right now if you're interested and go and put in the history of Iran, and it will tell you how close Iran was with the United States. They were Iran was what Israel is to the United States today. our biggest partner in the region. It was the counterblock to the Soviet Union.
See, that's why I said Donovan comes through with the history lesson, as he does have a degree in history. He's a history buff, and he just happened to spend 24 years in the Air Force, 16 tours of duty. So if anybody gonna know, it's gonna be Donovan, okay? Like I said, I was just up here winging it. But we appreciate his expertise. As I said, I don't think there's anybody else that can speak on these issues better than Donovan can. It's just a fact. Now, all the other stuff. And Cynthia says he still has a warrant out for his arrest. Okay, so he being Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, Bernard, you say if Netanyahu out of office, Israel will be destroyed. Period. Oh, I don't know. But it remains to be seen. Juggernaut, how you doing? He says, and Dumb Donald just put a bullseye on this country. Shaking my head. That's what a lot of people are saying. Again, doesn't sound like Iran has the capability to send missiles over here, but there are other ways that they could do it if they wanted to. Again, attacking service people and bases and sleeper cells, as they said. People can come over here. And Donovan, I also heard somebody said in regards to Iran getting revenge, it's not if, it's when, and they typically know how to play the long game. Because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to come in a couple of days, but what is your opinion about that?
Yeah, like Afghanistan, Iran is basically, Iran was originally under British rule. It was a colony of Britain and all that other great stuff, blah, 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 blah. But for since 1979, since the overthrow of the Shah, they have been consolidating their power, and they are the premier imminent exporters of terror. So yeah, it's going to be sleeper cells. I mean, they don't have the military capability to go head to head with the United States. That's just not going to happen. The only way that they can do it is through guerrilla warfare tactics and terror tactics. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Absolutely. And the shareholder, how you doing, says Iran was literally in negotiations with Israel and the U.S. when the U.S. bombed them. Yes, that is absolutely right. They were in negotiations, and Israel said, yeah, not so much, So yeah, that's what happened. Jupiter, how you doing? Says, listen, Demetri, I am U.S. Army GWOT baby from 2003, and I say this. Iran is not Iraq. This isn't what we want. This is a repeat of weapons of mass destruction. He says them Zionist Israel folks are the puppet masters. I did hear that as well in regards to Iraq and Iran, that, Iran is a different entity. Sounds like Iraq might be, standing down. Again, I think it was them that said Iran got what they need. They don't need us to intervene, as it sounds like they were destabilized a little bit not too long ago. If I'm not mistaken, Donovan, was it by Israel as well, like a couple months back? Yeah, so let's see. Mission Vision says the money can go to U.S. citizens. They're just too busy being instigators. Yep. Daryl says the clowns are running the show. Much love and respect to you, Demetri. Much love and respect to you as well. Chris Allen, how you doing? Says the question is, are what we should have been doing all along, leading to now staying fit, unified, armed, and trained up on said weapons. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're actually really behind. That's why I said, when people are calling me yesterday, said, little less entertainment right now and stay focused on what's going on. Stay in tune as much as you can, because I don't know everything. I'm trying to stay abreast things myself, but and I saw somebody else say stay away from large crowds and things like that. Yeah, that's a good idea too, because we just don't know, right? And it has been said by almost every expert that I heard and listened to. They said, yeah, Iran is not going to say, okay, we're going to wave the white flag. They said they're not going to do that, right? So it just remains to be seen. Eva, how you doing? Says it's biblical prophecy. That it is absolutely correct. Tin Man, did I say hello to you? If not hello, he said exactly. Lynette from Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. And I see all you guys' comments, but I want to make sure I get there. Oh, I got to the bottom. Oh my God. Okay, let's see here. Samantha, he says, I remember Farrakhan speaking on America's Shah in Iran. He says, in the times and what must be done. I also remember him speaking of signs to look for when the return of the Son of Man. Yep. And I was listening to the webcast from Nation of Islam this morning by student minister Ishmael Muhammad, and he talked about that as well. Like, all this has been prophesized. He says, you know, you may not have voted for Trump or whatever the case is, but it's, you know, almost, I guess, and I'm paraphrasing, but divine, because, you know, these things have to come to fruition. And so you just got to pay attention to what's going on, you know. Lady Sue, he says, my brother, to keep using the term we, and it should be the American government. There is no we for the wickedness the governments of America uses. Okay. Let's see here. As Edgy say, and yes, Buckhorse, we should stay focused. As Eddie says, Trump should send ICE to fight. I keep seeing y'all say that. I think ICE is busy right now. And then I saw y'all say that the illegals should go fight. I mean, I don't know if anybody should go fight. As for what? You know, why should anybody go fight? That's not our business, right? It has nothing to do with any of us. Why should we be concerned with any of that? Because at the end of the day, you know, illegal immigrants are over here for whatever reason. They're over here. I never want to speak disparagingly about them. Like, I don't think they should go and die in a war that has nothing to do with them, you know. Because again, somebody says that you come over and get all you can get and get it twice and 3 times over, you're going to do that, right? We just don't like, as Black Americans, that they're getting it and we're not. So I just hope I'm clear on that.
Well, the sad thing also to add to that is, you know, me as a veteran, they say, do this, do this, do that, and we're going to take care of you for the rest of your life, and we're going to do this. It's so amazing to me how the American government could renege on promises to veterans and federal employees and all this other stuff, but yet will go 10 toes down for people that aren't even citizens yet. It's you know, for all you people that are like, oh, the people, we got to be nice to them and all this other stuff, we got to do something about it. And this is just me, this is not Demetra. I do not understand how you are okay with allowing illegal people to come into a country with no path to citizenship. Do you guys realize the Dreamers are 20 years deep when Obama gave them that status, and they're still not citizens, and they're having children? So what you're actually saying is you're sanctioning, and this is my opinion, you're sanctioning a slave class to come in, because now I could abuse them. And I think I've seen it here in California, or not, oh, I'm in Dominican Republic, but in California, there's a couple of California liberals that were like, oh, now you won't have anybody to clean your house. You won't have anybody to cut your lawn. Are you guys serious? And that opens the door to abuse these people and pay slave wages, $2, $3. We would be no different than China, my opinion.
Absolutely. And Christian says, the only reason I don't agree with letting migrants fight for us is because, as a matter of principle, I don't believe in giving our dirty work to someone else. War may come to us. Yeah, you know, and again, they're over here, but I think it's kind of wrong to send them. I don't know. Daryl says, people are confused. Democrats, Republicans, presidents have been drafting up Iran attack plans for 30 years. I've heard that too. It says Biden and Israel rehearsed this bombing. I don't know about that, but you know, I guess all theories are out there. Cynthia says exactly. So you're talking to Buckhorse. And Timothy, it says now we need to deport all Iranians, legal or not. You know what's so funny is I thought, okay, that conversation is probably going to be heard next from the White House, right? Because yeah, I don't know that they should be. I'm just saying that I would imagine the theory is they could be sleeper cells, right? But not all Iranians that are American citizens are on that page, right? I don't know. I wouldn't imagine that they are.
And think about that, Demetra. You're now going to ban Iranians because you attack them. We attack them, and now it's their fault. I think that's called the Bush Doctrine.
Right. Strike preemptively. And that's, you know, kind of what Israel was saying that they did. It was a preemptive strike. Arneva says Jesse Jackson got the credit for the hostage release, but it was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan who was with him that convinced Iran to release him. As we know that the Middle East, or let's see, Farrakhan has the ear of the Middle East, and that we know is a fact, right? A lot of Muslim countries and things like that, they definitely do listen to the minister. Daryl, he says, I'm not fighting this war. That I could tell you. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. Conscious Ether, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sally 44, he says, they're sick. He says, Hits 23, how you doing? He says, veterans have to show their marital status and political party. Yes, I saw that I guess they could be getting kicked out. Oh, wait, no. That doctors, veterans, from what I understand, at the VA, rather, doctors could refuse them help depending on if they're Democrat or not. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's not true. That is not true. I mean, you guys use your common sense. That is not true. That is not an official policy. It's another Democratic scare tactic to make you hate Trump and all this other stuff. Use your common sense. That would be discriminatory on a whole level. It doesn't make sense. And yet people choose to believe this stuff because they're not using their common sense. That is not true. When a military order or a memorandum comes out, it is written and somebody signs it. None of that exists.
Yeah, when I read about it, I was like, well, how could they even do that? So I agree with you, Donovan. Chocolate Bunny, how you doing? Says they're giving away their birthrights all for the sake of not wanting to work. And who is this they? Well, look who we have here. Miss Sweets, where have you been? It has been a very, very long time, and we are glad that you are back with us. Oh my God. Tracy, you say, who is we? Yeah, we all want to know, right? Jupiter says, Demetra, did you see? Yes, I saw Tucker Carlson expose Ted Cruz. I didn't watch the whole interview. I watched snippets of it, and it was quite telling. As he asked them about Israel, asked him a few questions about it, and basically Ted Cruz, that's from Texas, said, "Oh, it says in the Bible that we're supposed to honor, Israel and all this other stuff." And Tucker was saying, well, where does it say that in the Bible? Now, of course, a lot of people are like, yeah, well, Israel has just been in existence since 1947. So the Bible is a lot older than that. So where is it saying that, right? So yeah, Ted Cruz seemed highly unprepared. I also saw where he went somewhere and he was speaking and they were booing him. He was trying to, ram right that same point to them. They're like, nah, no, we ain't going for it.
Right. And think about this, Demetra. Why would we be holding Israel in such high regard when even God himself rejected them for rejecting Christ? I'm not trying to say that we're better, this, that, but because Israel kept rebelling against God so much, and this is my understanding of it, which is why he opened it up for everybody to make a choice to follow God. But we're supposed to follow a people that murdered our Messiah and hold them up like they're these holy people when God himself turned his back on those people. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, but obviously for the sake of whatever, we can't really get too, far into that, although they are getting a lot far into that on X. X is where it's like there's no gloves on X. I don't even like going on X as much because it's like, golly, you can see, somebody arguing about religion from one post and then somebody having sex on the other. And it's like that. I don't be following that kind of stuff. Selmo, how you doing? He says the sleeper cells have been here since 9/11. Rather, they are still on American soil to this day and been keeping us under surveillance. Just so you know, yes, that is the other speculation as well. Bernard says Iranians want to blow up corner stores in black hoods. Only crackheads are there, not being insensitive. Okay. Yeah, a lot of Arabs, I guess you could say, they do own a lot of stores in our community. Panther Strike, how you doing? Says former Marine here, and I never heard of veterans being denied health care via party affiliation. Not true. So from what I read, this is something that's come out of the Trump administration. Again, I don't know how true it is. I've read it in what you call credible news sources or whatever the case is. I don't know why a doctor would even be that far involved in who you vote for. Just fix my knee or whatever it is, right? And why would that even come up? Is it up on any questionnaire anywhere at the VA? Like, what's your political affiliation?
But that goes to show you how desperate the Democrats are to scare people to vote for them. And I'm not a Democratic basher. I'm not a Republican basher. The point is common sense, folks. Common sense. You know how many lawsuits veterans would use against the United States government, your tax dollars? It's crazy.
And J-Lock, how you doing? He says they were going to do it with the Democrats too. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there was conversations more so about it. Of course, Hillary was unapologetic about having to do it if that time came and all of that. But it was Trump, the one that did it. A lot of people, especially on the right, are saying, thank God for a president that has the, wherewithal, if you will, to do such a thing. It's a bold move. A lot of other people didn't want to do it. They were contemplating it, but he just went in and he's unafraid. And thank God for his leadership, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, y'all got some knee pads for all of that. But I probably said too much.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be a briefing or a knee pad session?
You ain't lying, because it's like, my God, is Melania jealous? I don't know. Buckhorse says, amazing. The United States ended with World War II and started with World War III. Ain't that a blip? I don't know. That's kind of the speculation that, we are on the verge, because they're saying China may have to get involved, Russia may have to get involved, and all these other people. I don't know. It remains to be seen. But everybody keeps saying, we're not at war. Repeat, we're not at war. I don't know. Salam, how you doing? It says 1971. That was a good year, I might add. 1971, refused war and draft. Yes, I also am familiar with people who said, no, I'm not doing it. Yvonne, how you doing? Says Trump does not want blacks in the military, stand down. They say that, right? Until it's time to put boots on the ground. They don't want blacks in high-ranking places and things like that, but they need the bodies, right?
See, once again, another scare tactic by the Democratic Party. The military is the only organization where you make rank based on your individual merit, and it's always been like that since the inception of the military. You guys got to stop it.
Yeah, they're always going to need black people for war. Let's just keep it a buck. Cynthia says, I know an Iranian man who is my good friend. He donates generously and constantly to my community. He's really good people. Yeah. And not all of everybody is bad, right? Not all of everybody is good. So yeah, you're absolutely right. As I say, I know people from all walks of life, So I definitely agree with you on that. Carrie said they forget that part. And Shaw says those imposters don't have a drop of Semitic blood. Okay. Yeah, Contra either X's is like, it's beyond freaky. It's like, what?
Well, at least Demetra, X is actually advertising what they actually are. X-rated, X, because that's all that ever comes on my feed.
Yeah, why? I wonder why. Akira Bob, how you doing? Says this war has been planned for years. So it's been said, right? Yanni says when those corner stores start closing down all at once, I'm running. Gerard, how you doing? Long time no see. Says I don't think Iranians are Arabs. They are Persian. Okay, I stand corrected, which I think is off-white. Like they are more related to the Euros than the Arabs are. Okay, well, I don't know everything. I didn't do very well in geography at all. I told y'all my only memory of my geography class in 10th grade, and it wasn't a good one. Let's see. Yes, Brother Salam, Democrats did destroy Libya under the Obama administration. You're absolutely right. Michelle W., how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Anitra, what's going on? It says it's time for Black Americans to really, and I do mean really, stand together. Yeah, now is the time. Black unity or bust, right? And we're very close to bust. Miss Sweet says, question, is President Trump harming or helping the American people? To me, it just depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask. I don't know. I can't honestly say that I personally been harmed yet. So So I don't know. It depends on who you ask. You can go ask some.
Statistically, they say in his last administration, Black people did better under Trump in those 4 years than any other group. So that was the last administration. This administration, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, and I think that's really a most honest answer. Casual 42, how you doing? Michelle, you crazy, says Melania isn't paying Trump any attention. She shows up as needed. Is she detests that blob? Well, damn. Yeah, she's probably got a couple of pool boys on each property. I'm going to go home and make sure they're getting all the leaves out the pool. Carrie says so-called Black people need to refuse to serve until they give us reparations. Yeah, refusing is one thing, but if a draft comes, you know, are you going to be playing spades in prison? I don't know. Cut from a different cloth. How you doing? Shalom to you as well. J-Lock says, we, the Black people, not at war in Iran. Totally agree. Chris says, my personal opinion, we as Blacks must become less forgiving to those who use or betray us because become harder to fool and ultimately become harder to kill. Cannot march, walk, or vote our way out of this. Absolutely. And that's part of the message that student Minister Ishmael Muhammad said, you know. Just lost my train of thought. Yeah, you can't vote your way out of this. You can't, you know. He says, and we've all heard this, but the way he put it was just beautiful. He says, they tell us to vote for the lesser of two evils. He says, but you're still voting for evil. You know, he said, whether it's Beelzebub or Satan, right? They're the same thing, entity, whatever that may be, right? So absolutely. Juggernaut says, sorry to say it this way, but it seems like they want to be cavemen, lack diplomacy, worship idiocy, and making America a cesspool again. Well, more than it already is. I was about to say, when was it not? But you got it. D. Johnson, how you doing? Says, how do you know that view is from the Democrats? And I'm sorry, I don't know what view that is. You might be speaking to somebody else. It reads differently on my end. Anti-American.
Oh, you know what I think he's probably talking about? Me saying that's a Democratic talking point. It's a Democratic talking point about all these scare tactics. It is a Democratic talking point. It is a scare tactic because they see that Black people are delineating and we are not participating. Look at what the Mexicans are saying about Black people. And the minute we don't do what they want us to do, then they want to talk about us in the real tone that we know that they've been talking about us. Go and watch the African Diaspora Channel, Philip Scott podcast. Philip Scott talked about this. It is a scare tactic because, as we know, as Black people, Republicans don't be repping Black people at all. These are scare tactics that they put out, and they know, the Democrats know of anybody else how to manipulate Black people. They've been doing it since they formed the KKK. My opinion.
Absolutely. Scare tactics have worked, and it's, you know, people are starting to wake up to that. And Ms. Sweet says, is this situation going to start a draft, or is the draft already in motion? I thought they were talking about that under the Biden administration. Donovan, do you remember that conversation under the Biden administration in regards to the draft?
Yes, the Biden administration right now in the Senate, what is happening is they have an equal rights bill to where women can be drafted, right? Women group, y'all strong, independent, women, y'all don't need no man. You want equality, we give you equality, and you have all these groups fighting that issue. In Israel, everybody is drafted because Israel's a small country. But all of this talk about drafting, you guys, again, use your common sense. If we got into a war that would require bodies in the nuclear age, what do we need people for? We have drones that have no pilots. We have smart missiles. Well, why would you need a draft? Yes, you need boots on the ground. Everybody knows that. You don't think we had Iraq? That's a fairly big, decent country, right? We subjected Iraq with how many troops? Bare minimum. Everybody's worried about this draft. There will be no draft. If it got that bad, the nukes will start flying.
Absolutely. Chrissy says, we have been asleep. Rip Van Winkle status for decades. Absolutely. Let's see here. K. Daniel says Russia may not get involved, but trust me, they will supply Iran with nuclear weapons just like America did Ukraine. Okay. Lord knows it. How you doing? Says America has 2 million troops. What comes next will deplete the police officers for ready combat. He says soldiers, when the military is depleted, draft is coming and will be mandatory.
Wrong, 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 wrong. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way.
And like I said, I don't. That's more Donovan's expertise than mine. I don't know. You know, I know a lot of other things, but this just kind of have to read upon myself. Kelly, how you doing? Yes, they were saying that, but when have we not ever been next, right? We love you too, Cynthia. Let's see here. Yes, Miss Sweets. They said that women can be drafted too. It wasn't that way before, but yeah, you know, city girling may come to an end for a lot.
Yeah, it's not law. It's not law yet. It's been sitting on the desk because women lobbyist groups are fighting against it.
Good luck, right? Noah, how you doing? Says the Black Africa today is lost. Huey Newton, Bobby Seals, Elbert Howard, Fred Hampton is needed back in the U.S. to wake up you sleeping Black Americans. You know, I partially agree with that. I really do. But, you know, we've had people trying to wake us up in between the aforementioned and after, especially the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad. He spoke about that today. You know, of course, people are like, basically, for lack of a better word, saying, where is Farrakhan? Where is Farrakhan? He said he is alive and well. He's doing well. He's not sick. He's just, you know, he said he's taking instructions. He's not to say anything. He said all he needed to say. If you have not been listening and preparing and all of that, then that ain't on him. What else does he really need to say that he hasn't already said for most of his life? You know, so after a while, it's got to be on us.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Louis Farrakhan. If people are so concerned about Louis Farrakhan and what he's saying after all these years, all of this stuff is recorded, video, tape. If you're really interested in what the Minister Farrakhan had to say and has said, you can look all this stuff up. But see, no, they want him up in front in the center, and you know, they want to point him out. And I just don't think, you don't have to do that. Do your research. If you're interested in what the minister has been saying, it's recorded. Go look at it. It's written down in books. How many books in regards to the message that the minister puts out there has been written, Demetra? Probably hundreds.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of things out there. YouTube has a plethora of messages. And I mean, it's just, at this point, it's what will you do with the information? You know, they say you can give the person knowledge, or maybe I said that, I don't know, but you can't make them think. You can't make them use it. You can only give it to them. What they do with it, if they apply it, great. But most people don't apply the knowledge. They just know a lot of stuff they ain't going to do nothing with, right? Yes, Jay Donovan is cooking, absolutely. Raven, you said, see if Black folks will go hard on Fat Joe for allegedly sleeping with a multitude of underage girls like they do Tyler, Diddy, Smokey, and other celebrities for alleged wrongs. I mean, I've seen the stuff about Fat Joe. I think it's all a distraction. Fat Joe was already suing the person for defamation that, is claiming these things. So it could be interesting. I think it's an awakening for a lot of people who thought that they were untouchable. Whether you Black, brown, whatever it is, Puerto Rican, it's an awakening. You can't do what them folks do and get away with it, right? Now, I don't know if he's done any of that. I have no knowledge if any of them have done any of that stuff, but it sure is sending a message to a lot of people. Hey, you need to sit yourself down somewhere, Let's see. Michelle says, I really hate that Israel has Rowan into their war. I meant throwing us into the war. I think that's what you're trying to say. Trump is blistering fool for not standing by Tulsi. Yep, Tulsi spoke against it as well when she said Iran does not have nuclear weapons. Trump doesn't trust his own intel. Yeah, sounds like some back and forth was going on there too. Gerard says draft isn't necessary with automated drones and unmanned craft. Yeah, I saw somebody else say they better send in them robots. Exactly. Charles, how you doing? Says, I don't know. Because he says the Jew in the video, Jerusalem, North Africa, 1925 video on YouTube, and ancient Egypt Egyptian facts about Israel. We woke now video on YouTube. Okay, got you. Busy says TikTok about to be lit with folks crying about being deployed, praying for y'all. Yeah, can you imagine? They're gonna be giving away secret locations and all kind of stuff because they're gonna be they're gonna be out there doing TikTok dances and all kind of stuff. They're gonna be like, they getting out of here, okay? Dishonorable discharge, okay? Miss Sweet says, I'm happy my old A won't be getting drafted. I was asking for my son. Hopefully he gets drafted. Well, damn. J Lock says, equality, ladies, this y'all chance to fight back for your rights. I never asked for none of that. Never. Let's see. Santa, how you doing? Says Malcolm Warren, Farrakhan, and KKK, NOY. So you're saying they all warned. Okay. I think that's what you're trying to say. Okay. Sure.
Okay, real quick, so, somebody in the chat, I don't want to be disrespectful, saying that you don't know what you're talking about. And says the Vietnam War was winding down. They did a study, and they found that people that are drafted into the United States military are less far effective as war fighters, and it brings the morale down of other troops that are around them. So this is why America went to an all voluntary force. That way, knowing that. Having these people who really don't want to be there, the draft would not work. It's in the modern age, the draft will not work. The draft in World War II, okay. Korea, okay. That was a different time, and different people. But the people of today, no, that's just not going to work. That's why they never reinstituted it. It doesn't work. You can't make people who don't want to be there participate. It becomes more of a liability to the other people around them. So there was actual study that said that a draft, yes, there is an entity of a draft, but if we ever got to that point, the nukes would be fine at that point.
So I know it was kind of hard to hear Donovan, but what he's basically saying is that most of the time if people are drafted into the military, it doesn't go over well because they don't want to be there, opposed to people who go willingly. I think that's basically what he was saying.
Right.
Marcus, how you doing? Says hands off Iran. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think Fat Joe conversation is, it's a distraction. And I know Fat Joe has been into it with Black Americans over a whole lot of other stuff. I just think it's an awakening for a lot of people to sit down somewhere, I don't know if he's done it or not. I haven't looked that far into it. Yeah, and I saw. Hopefully, y'all, I was able to translate that. It was kind of in and out. I can hear him carefully. I have to listen though. Yeah, so sorry about that. Nagovu, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Business, I think Donovan saying the draft destroyed morale of volunteer military service. Yes, Miss Sweet says drafting citizens that don't want to fight for their country. Understandable. Buckhorse says, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. Then Lady Diana, how you doing? Says that's absolutely correct. It's a whole different feeling when you are drafted versus going in because you want to serve. And Anitra says, how old are they drafting for? Isn't it 18 to, I don't know how old. Is it low 40s or something like that? High 30s? So 18 to 26. Tracy, you're saying 18 to 26. That's how old the draft span. For me, I'm just a little too old. So Salam says no mandatory registration. Got you. So anyway, Donovan dropped off. His signal's probably bad, but I'm going to get out of here as we have been on here an hour. So I'm going to try to come back here before you tomorrow. If not, I'll probably make a video or something, but definitely Tuesday, as Donovan, I know, is still in the DR and he'll be traveling back on Wednesday. So Walter says that he wants to come on. I saw him when I was in California and he was like, yeah, I'm going to come on. So we're going to see if that actually happens on Wednesday. And Larry L, it says Black American people need to boycott against going to military because we get nothing out of it. I totally agree with you. Nothing out of it. We come back to the same old racist system in America when it's all said and done, right? J Lock says, y'all better learn how to cooperate with Black men. When we try to protect y'all, listen to be quiet. These Black men checked out from Black women and women in general. Yeah, I mean, that's true for some, but there's a lot of black men that's still checking for black women. But I get the sentiment nevertheless. Yeah, I agree. We do need to, when I say we, I mean just in general, we need to become a little bit more cooperative. You know, being a sassy sassafras is not where we're at. That's, you know, out of style, I would say. We need to get back to being able to take direction from the black man and all of that. So I totally agree. You have no argument with me on that. Mexico, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Biz says Donovan enjoying the DR internet and beaches also that can't be typed. Also things that can't be typed here. Yeah, I can only imagine. Panther Strike says Queen Demetra, King Donovan, and family. Thank you. And stock up. It will get worse before it gets better. I totally agree with you. Much love to you as well, Anitra. Anyway, if you guys saw anything valuable here, if y'all see fit, y'all can help with the channel by donating there at the bottom. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Please like, subscribe, and everything that you do. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see y'all. Black says, I'll take you to get your passport for $300. Listen, I got my passport, boo, but you can give me the $300 anyway, and I can pretend to get another one. So anyway, love y'all. See y'all later. Peace.